So Nebula has introduced new content to the game called Nebula Island. Now, Nebula Island is massive for everybody, and everybody should be farming this. In this video, I'll be covering everything you need to know about Nebula Island, how to get the best accessories, how to farm Nebula Island, and what to basically do on the island and be the most efficient at it. So let's just jump into the video and get into the island. So we are here on the island. For the people that don't know, you can easily access the island to the lawless wilds. Now the first thing you guys need to know about Nebula Island is you guys have 5 hours of playtime. You can see on the top right here, I have 3 hours left, but 5 hours of playtime. When you're standing here, you don't use any playtime. It's only when you enter the zone where you can farm mobs out of this platform, you can your time will start ticking down, and this is your currency basically to farm the mobs and get as much loot as possible. You can fill this up if you go to lawless wild, so you can fill it up up to 3 hours by using the Nebula charge stones, which lasts 30, which gives you 30 additional minutes, and you can use this 6 times to get 3 hours. But that is it. So you can get 8 hours of Nebula playtime every single week. So you want to make sure that you're using this in the most effective way to get the best loot possible on the island. Now, these stones, you guys are probably wondering, where do I get the charge stones? Now, this charge stones actually drops at the boss that spawns at 10 p.m. If you get like a contribution on the boss, you will get the charge stone, but you can also get it through the NPC, which I will show later. Now, when it comes to the loot, Nebula Island drops the best loot possible currently in the games, except Arc Boss, which are the accessories. So these accessories right here, if you look at the prices of them right now, yeah, you can look at this price right here. Here we have 150,000 Lucent. Of course, it most likely it's gonna start at like around 100k, 80 to 100k, and it's gonna drop down to like 50k to 60k. But it's insane amount of Lucent. So if you guys get this, you guys will get insane amount of loot. It also drops everything else in the, for example, in this bag. I guess I can show you guys. I have some of these pouches right here. You can get all of these different loot by going to Nebula Island and farming basically these pouches. So there's a bunch of loot to obtain in this, but the best things are definitely the Nebula accessories and rings that's gonna be insanely hard to get, which you can get through the Nebula Conquest chest, which I will show how to get in a second, but also through the boss. That's the Nebula accessories in general, like these big accessories. You won't be getting these accessories by just farming the island. You can only get it through the boss or the big chest. When you farm the mobs, you get the smaller stuff, or smaller T2 epics like these, which you can sell for trades and stuff and make a bunch of Lucent. But the biggest things you can only get through the boss and through the big pouch, which I will explain in a second how you guys can get. Now, when you guys, and also you get a bunch of artifacts. So if you guys look here, I have 39 artifacts right here, and I have 106 artifacts, and this is from just farming Nebula Island. So you can get a bunch of these things by just farming. So it's not one of the, it is the best place to get loot. Now, when you're on Nebula Island, what should you guys be doing? Because you guys have several ways to farm Nebula Island. You have a piece, so you have a warp portal, because the whole island is basically PvP, so you have to fight for each monster. But you also have the peace portal, which is this place. Now, the peace portal, I won't recommend going to the peace portal, and the reason for that is, of course, there's way more players there trying to fight for the mobs, but the drop chance are also lower. So the better chances to get better loot is actually inside the PvP zones and not the peace zones. So I would highly advise players to not waste their play time on the peace places, rather in the PvP zones. Now, how can you guys do that in the PvP zones? That means you have to join a team of 5 to 6 players, and you have to usually play a time where people aren't PvP. And the island is pretty massive, guys, and there are good spots to find where there are no players at all. But sometimes you have to fight for it, or sometimes you come to an agreement with players to split up, so they take one side and you take the other side. It's not a lot of players, right? But I would highly advise you guys to use the PvP time. Now, what does 1 hour of PvP loot look like? Now, I saved 1 hour PvP loot in my bag right here, and what I have gotten from 1 hour PvP is 39 of rare artifacts. Let's open all of these. This is what I got for 1 hour of PvP. Let's see if you get 3 stars anywhere. If you are wondering how artifacts work, you can watch my previous video. No, just some 2 stars. And then I've got 106 of these. These are all going to be used for transmutation. So, and then I got 14 of this. Let's see what we get. Come on, give me some luck here. Any rings, any accessories? No. Oh my god, horrible. Any T2s at all? Just the gloves. That's insane. That is really bad. But it's not here. So that's just how Nebula is in general. I mean, you won't always get lucky, unfortunately. You can get unlucky like this. But I also got 78 Nebula stones by farming the PvP zone. I got 2 greater Nebula stones and Nebula essence. So this is what I got from just 1 hour of farm. So it is a bunch of loot. Usually you don't get this unlucky like me, but sometimes you do, right? So it is a very good, effective way to farm. Now, what other things happens on the island? Because it's not only farming monsters all the time. There's actually events during the day. So today we have, for example, this event that is happening, which is the Frenzy Zone at 8 p.m. Now, the Frenzy Zone is basically a region inside of here. It could be Peace Zone, it could be PvP zone, or whatever. It will announce during 8 p.m. that the emerge frenzies of monsters multiply exponentially, which basically means there's going to be way more mobs spawning, so it's going to be easier to farm there. So if it's a PvE zone, it's good, but still I would try to look for this in PvP zone, but usually it's probably going to be a disaster, right? Because everybody's going to be fighting for this. But there's events throughout the day. During nighttime, for example, right now, I heard there's also chest spawns happening on the island, but you have to be on the spot to actually see the chest, which can give you Nebula stones and stuff, which will help you on your Nebula grind. So that is really good. And also in this area, there's also nodes spawning, so mining nodes. So when you get these mining nodes, they actually give you and can give you greater Nebula stones, which is insane. It gives because Nebula greater Nebula stones you actually need to get recharged and these good chests, which leads me to my next topic, which is how the Nebula NPCs. What should you prioritize and what should you do during the Nebula NPCs? Or what should you buy during at the Nebula NPCs? I will highly advise everybody to go to the Nebula NPCs. There's 2 NPCs. You have this guy, and then you have this guy. The main priority I would highly advise everybody to do is you can buy these big chests, which can give you the Nebula stuff. For 1 greater Nebula stone. To craft the Nebula stones, you need Nebula essence. So what people do is they use this, the blue Nebula stone, to get Nebula essences, like this, and then they go to the crafter. Let me see if I can find the crafter right here. Should be under here. You can use the Nebula stone and the Nebula essence to craft a greater Nebula stone, right? So you need the normal Nebula stones to actually craft the big chest. This is why I will highly advise players to first go to this NPC and buy out these pouches, which are 50 of these pouches. I can buy 50 of them right now, so I'm going to show you what we get. And then after you buy this, you can do 2 things. You can either buy out the rare artifact bundle, or you can get Nebula essences. It's up to you. I would probably try to get some more artifacts because it's early in the game and you want to get as much combat power as possible, so I would go for the artifacts. But then once you have done that, is get your recharge stones. Now wait for this because this is important. The Nebula recharge stones that you get, right? Remember, you can also get this guaranteed at the boss, but this is guaranteed like 250 Lucent, right? Because they sell for 250 Lucent. So you either go for the recharge stones. If you are not doing the boss that spawns on Nebula Island, which spawns at 10 p.m., you're not getting the participation reward. I would probably go for the recharge stone because it is worth getting those 3 hours. I would highly advise everybody that is on Nebula Island, because right now the price is so high, it's extremely worth getting those 3 hours in so you guys can have a higher chance of loot. But then once you have done this, then you go for the weekly Nebula Conquest chest at the end, because even though you can get those really good items, the percentage chance extremely low. Because I have it right here. You can look at the chance info of this. Now, to get the actual Nebula accessories that cost 150,000 plus Lucent, it is a 0.15% chance. to get these, right? It's extremely low. So if we open this, I'm probably just gonna get absolutely nothing, but let's open this. Okay, we got a Stormbringer crossbow, epic level 0, see? And then we got 50 of these, so we might as well open them for the stream, for the video. Okay, we got honor, we got some good stuff at least, right? A bunch of blues. 1T2. Oh, max. Oh, this might be good. So keep it short for everybody is what I would highly advise everybody to do is use your 8 hours of Nebula, buy the actual charging stone, because you make enough Lucent back to use 8 hours. Do the boss. If you can't get a participation award, just hit the boss and die on it. You get a Nebula charge stone. Make sure you use 8 hours. Farm Nebula Island during PvP. Get the nodes if you can get the nodes, and then make sure you're buying out the NPCs for the weekly, especially Lottie, and then you guys can focus on this NPC after. If you guys somehow hit the jackpot and you guys get this big chest that I showed you guys right here, and you hit this, you hit one of these big accessories, you can make 100,000 Lucent, and you're set for life basically in this game. So it is massive if you can actually hit that. But yeah, that is Nebula basically explained. It's just a big zone, guys, with a lot of PvP happening, but you guys should be farming there. Everybody should be there. It should be your main priority right now, is be on the island and farm, make a bunch of Lucent, and get a bunch of artifacts, so you guys are better prepared. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to check out more Throne of Liberty content, you guys can check out this video right here, and I will see you guys next time.